Ladies and gentlemen, it is Morokai with Tours. We're back on every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 7 a.m. on Spotify, 4:30 p.m. on YouTube. I played the flute in primary school. I think you did too, didn't you?
I played the flute and the xylophone from memory. Or the glockenspiel.
That's the closest.
That's about as good as I got.
That's the closest me and you ever got to band life. But, mate, you were actually in a band.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good times, eh? Yeah. I've been in a few, but I was in one serious band, Subjective. So that was like metal and rocky metal.
Screamer, wasn't it? Had some long hair there.
That was good. It had like good, I had long hair back then, yeah. I was young. I was like 23 and the other guys were like 30 and my mate Luke, the drummer, he was 26 or something, yeah. That was a good time. Was that?
Do you get groupies?
I had this conversation last night and we got groupies, but they're not like not rock star groupies. Yeah, like
but they're groupies.
There's a level of groupie and like but yeah, no, it was good. It was good fun.
So what goes into? Would you just go to like local pubs? Did you have actual events? Like what would go into playing?
So for years we were doing like just like when I was in older bands, we were just doing like local stuff, battle of the band stuff, and all that crap. Yeah. When I was in this band, this was like more actually like talking with promoters, dealing with stuff. Like we opened for a few bands, a few bigger bands, like international bands, and we played the Palais. That was massive. That was
huge.
That was sick. That was actually still something like I'll remember that forever. Like that was, I got some really good memories like of that kind of thing. But for every awesome like 45-minute set you get to play at the Palais, there is like days and days of like I don't know what burns money quicker, being in a band or Pokemon cards, right? Band could be up there, man. Being in a band is constantly burning money.
Is that in the sense of like travel, like as such, like as well as like just buying, like whether say you're a drummer, like you want to like get like a better like I'm coming as a complete novice here, so I apologize, but like
I didn't think it'd be a money pit. Yeah,
no, it's a money pit, like 100%. Like music, guitars, amps. So my amp was like 4K, right? So I bought that like 23. You're buying a 4K amp, like should be saving up for a house deposit, yeah.
Buying
a friggin'
that shows your passion for your hobby. If it's like 4K,
and then the guitars are like anywhere from a K to 2K. Then your pedal boards. And then like leads, and then everything costs money, right?
As well as then I suppose like trying to like book a venue and like paying for promotion, and
the stress, the pain, like. And so when you go to a 45-minute set, you got to get to the gig like 3 hours early, set all your stuff in, make sure it sounds good, make sure everything's good. And then something doesn't go right, it's like it's hard. Like
so someone wakes up feeling a bit scratchy, especially if it's like your like lead singer. Yeah. Their like vocals are a bit, and you're like, fuck. Like that's stressing in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like that, I can understand.
Geez, the hell if Justin Bieber like cancels a concert is insane.
Dude, yeah. Oh, yeah. We actually cancelled gigs too. Like we like, because we're such rock stars. But, we had to cancel a few gigs for like dumb reasons. But yeah, it's good fun. But like, you know what it was? It was, we spent like 2 years trying to record this album, right? So we recorded an album. And then like we released it, and then I like left 2 gigs later because I was like, nope, I'm out. But it took like 2 years to make this album, and it like nearly killed us. Like it just.
So what goes into making an album?
So we were lucky. So the singer / bassist, he actually had a recording studio at home, and to his credit, actually had like a decent setup. Yeah. So we were able to record all the drums electronically, so with an electric drum kit, and then all the guitars we record through there. And I didn't actually know that this is how people do it, but we recorded everything at home, like in his little studio, and then we took it to an actual. So we recorded the guitar tracks on like left and right, took them to an actual studio, and then put that signal through guitar amps, and then it played the signal through the guitar amps with a distortion. So what you're hearing on the album is the guitar recorded in a bedroom, and then like the signal coming through amps in a studio in North Melbourne, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? So all the distortion is real. So we basically record all the heavy metal stuff, right? Yep. You're recording it clean, so it just sounds like ding, 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 ding. And then we use the distortion from the amps in the studio to record it. So that was actually pretty cool. So I didn't even know that that's how they did it. So we would literally like would play the album, essentially just play the album. We sat there for like doing the guitar tracks, play the album for like 40 minutes, just sit there while it's just playing through in the studio. Yep, sounds good.
Dude, how does it even start though? Like if I'm creating a song with Lee and where there's like needs to be bass, guitar, drums, maybe the triangle if we're feeling a bit
a bit fancy.
And like, do you come up with the words for the song first? Do you come up with like, you need the background of the guitar?
Sort of like the beat first as such, and then like you're like.
With that band specifically, like it would be like I didn't actually write a lot for that, to be fair. Like the singer, I came into that band, they already had a few songs, and then he was just like he would write a song, we'd sit there, we'd work on it. And if I'm honest, I hated the way that band wrote songs. If I'm honest, like because we would sit there and we would like overthink it, overgrind it to the point where the song didn't sound the same anymore, and it would like lose all its feel. And I used to hate that. And when I listen to the album now, it actually makes me cringe.
Passion as well.
Yeah, like, bad. Like when I listen to that album, I cringe. So like my passion, my whole life was music. Like I wanted nothing more than I wanted to be a rock star. Like that was my genuine dream, and like I wanted to work on that. Like I was serious. Like people always go, "Oh, you want to be in a band? You want to be a rock star? Oh, yeah, good luck with that." It's like, well, yeah. Like I actually did want to be a rock star. But if you're actually passionate about it,
like you put all that energy into it, so like you want to see it succeed.
And like we did. We put a lot of money. We put a lot of time into the album. We put a lot of time into ourselves. We made like video clips and stuff, and you know they're fun, but the hours you put into being in a band it's a full-time job.
I was going to say, was that hard to work around what you were already doing as a job? Like, I would assume, like, were there a lot of arguments being like, mate, like you need to be here, and you're like, dude, like I just fucking finished a full day's work. Like yes, I'm keen. I'm just as keen as you guys, but you also have to understand, like, I'm actually I'm not going to be any fun at like this recording session.
Yeah, and it was
like I'm not up and about. Dude. Like I'm going to be a cunt.
Yeah,
and
many times we had like you like fight a lot. Like I've been in bands before where they gel real well, like your friends and your mates, but you don't take it seriously. It doesn't go anywhere, and that's fun too, right? I love jamming. I love playing guitar. That's my favorite thing in the world, right? Playing on stage is like the best thing that can happen. Like I love it. There's not one moment in my life that's better than like playing at the Palace. Right?
Is that an adrenaline rush when you come out and hear the crowd
if there's a crowd?
But because I would think like it's pretty special if you're performing and there's people out there. Granted, it might it could seriously be like say 10, but like if they know the words to like your song, like I would think the euphoria feel like I would have no idea how that feels, but I would think it'd be pretty up there.
I'll tell you what, like there was probably like 3 or 4 gigs where I can honestly say were like actually like made me feel a way I've never felt before. And like one was we played in Ballarat of all places, yeah. And it was random. And we went there and we were talking promoter before we got in, right? And the venue was a nice little small venue, looked really nice. Oh yeah, how many people do you reckon you get through the door? And he goes, I reckon we get about 200 through the door. And I go, I'm not getting 200 people through the door. The guy's full of it, yeah. I think he ended up getting like 180 through the door. So anyway, this is Ballarat, right? Crammed, packed, yeah. And like first band starts and like, the crowd's actually getting right into it. I'm like, oh, this might be a good gig. And then the crowd legitimately got into it and was singing, and like, this is in Ballarat, right? And we're like, what the hell? Like, this is awesome. And there was actually like the crowd going nuts, and I was like, this is sick. Because it makes it worth it, right? Because you do a lot of grinding.
Sort of like all that hard work's paying off, like you're seeing that success.
And we did like 2 years of real hard grinding for the Melbourne scene, and we did do gigs that did real well. Played at the ESPY a few times. We played for other bands. We played at the Hi-Fi Bar, which was sick. But then where it all kind of was unraveling for me was like, the grind, the amount of effort and time, and like no payoff at all. Like we never profited ever, right?
Shit.
Never, because like the most we ever made from a single gig was the Palace gig, and we made probably like, I want to say, but like between $1,200 and $1,500, right?
Yep.
That was gone within a week because it just goes back into merch. It goes back into
just fuel for just going up there in general.
Yeah, you got to write that shit off already. Like fuel's already a write off. You already got to understand that every gig's going to cost you time. And like when you play in St Kilda, you got to pay for parking and like 3 cars paying for parking.
True. Yeah,
like and we take that out of our fee, right? And then there's promoters you got to pay. Then you got to pay the lighting guy. You got to pay the sound guy. So they got to get paid before you get paid too, yeah? Because you got to make sure that those guys actually want to be your lighting guy the next time, right? So you got to pay them straight up.
Yep.
So there's always, it's a money pit, man. Like, and then, but the thing that was definitely the when I said was when we went to Sydney. It was our first. This is after 2 years, right? So that was our first time we finally drifted out interstate, right? And we were already at this point talking about, we're going to go to Japan, we're going to go to New Zealand, we're going to go to a US, and we were starting to get that hyped up. We went to Sydney. And I'll never forget it, yeah. Like, the room was actually empty. It was us and the sound guy. And he goes, you guys ready to start? And I was just like, well, and by the way, me and the other guitarist, we just driven from Sydney. We drove to Sydney overnight. So we drove So we drove there because we had all the gear. Mate. So we had to drive in the old X-Trail. Like, me and my mate, car filled with amps and guitars and like pieces of drum kit, yeah. So the drummer and the singer, smart boys, flew up the morning of, but we had to get the kit up there, yeah, because we couldn't hire. It was too, even if you hire gear and then like, you have to get your own gear up there. So if we were going to,
and you prefer to play with your own stuff than someone else's as well.
And if you're going to ship that stuff up there, it's going to cost even more, right? So we're like, we said we'll make something of it. Me and the guitarist, we'll just have fun. It was fun. We road tripped up there, right? Yeah. But like that was that's fuel money, yeah.
So real quick, was it being empty due to the fact that you were mainly doing a lot of things in Melbourne? Was it due to the place itself, like that wasn't promoted?
We were playing with a bunch of other bands from Melbourne too.
Yep.
But I think it was a bit of everything. I don't think it was. I think when you're playing in Melbourne regularly and you're seeing decent crowds, you assume that translates to everywhere. Not true, right? Like we got to Sydney and we were like, "This is eye-opening." And like to be fair, like some people came in. Oh, dude, I'd be like, why hasn't the bar owner or whoever why haven't they promoted the if there is zero people in here, you have done. You've actually done nothing. To be fair, as well, like people forget that like when I was doing this about 10 years ago, YouTube wasn't even what it was now, and like Instagram wasn't even what it is now. So like when we were doing it, like Instagram was still new. Because I remember, like I was saying before, I was trying to say, hey, we should promote on Instagram, and like the thing was like, why? It's pointless. It's not for bands, and it's like, you know, another one of those things.
Missed the market there.
Yeah, bad, eh? But and also to be fair, no bands were really doing it in
retrospect.
But, yeah, man, I remember just like walking out and then going, "Are you serious?" I just drove like 800 Ks. You know, with a
Did you play?
We played. Oh, I just had a good time. And then like a few people walk in, and I'm like, if it took us 2 years to get to an empty room in Sydney, then how many more fucking years do I got to grind to like get this to America or Europe?
That would have been so hard to be like such an eye-opening moment.
That was tough because I've played the empty rooms before. Well. Don't get me wrong. I've played the empty rooms before, right?
But it was a fucking half an hour drive, yeah.
Yeah, right. And like, I'm like, okay, well, no one rocked up today, or like, and sometimes you can like go, okay, it's a Friday night, it's out in the middle of nowhere, or sometimes it's like, you know that a promoter hasn't done their job. Like promoters are like, I'm gonna say it. Promoters are like, for every one good one, there is 100 absolute jerks who take your money, don't do their number one job, which is promote, and like, they just think it's easy. They think it's easy just to get 5 bands, play a venue.
Yeah, put you on like a flyer, make like a quick Facebook status on like the actual official Facebook page of like the venue.
I'm telling you, that is 90% of promoters. Like, and then like, no offense, there is some good guys out there. Like there really is. Like we've worked some real good guys.
But I'm sure they also are, like the good ones also are asking for like a little bit more too, because they actually do their job properly.
And well, that's the thing. The ones that do their job properly and don't, they seem to ask for the same money sometimes.
Yes.
And we've got the same band story that every band has. Every band has the same story where they've been ripped off. They've been put on shows that were promised this, they didn't get that. Like,
See, when you talked about before, you're like, as we're creating songs and we're going along, and like halfway through I'll be like, I fucking hate this. I was thinking about the fact that my girlfriend has the exact same music taste as me. So she might send me a song and it's brand new. So I'm like, oh my God, I'll play the shit out of that for the next week and then I hate it.
Yep.
So I can't imagine creating your own song where you're trying to love it and then halfway through you've replayed it so many times, you're like, is this even good?
100%. So when we released the album took way longer than it should have, right? And we were writing for the album as we were doing it, and we weren't really like, I'm very old school when I write something. It doesn't really change too much by the time I get to them. Like if you like, sometimes you'll write a song. There's like 3 levels of a song, right? It's like you write the song and it might sound good when you're just jamming in the room. Then you got to test it in front of an audience, and then you got to test it when it's recorded, because all 3 things are different, right? Like, so when it's recorded, you go, like we had this one song, for example, I can't remember what it was called right now. Round 1, I think it was called. And we thought it sounded cool and it was fun to play, because sometimes it's actually physically got to be fun to play too, yeah?
Yep.
Well, you want to
but in front of the audience,
they just not
it just didn't happen, ever. Like, ever. And we were like, why do we even bother playing this song? Like, it doesn't really
So what's that like? Would you, so you're going to do a gig and you have a certain amount of songs you're going to play, and I'm guessing that at some you'd be like, all right, we're going to test out this new song tonight.
Yeah.
What was that like, testing a new song and seeing some reaction, being like, oh, this is not vibing, like, as you're like playing?
Sometimes, and like, well, one of our songs I hate, and I still hate. It actually was our second single. It's on YouTube. It's got a film clip, right? I never liked it. Like from the moment like we started sitting down and writing it, and like I was like, this is crap. Like this is just a crap riff. Like this is a crap song. Like,
did that song take off though? Like, was that one that was popular amongst?
But in my head, is it popular just because it was the only one we released at the time?
Yeah,
in my head,
call.
like, I always have that theory. I've had that theory for like 20 years, right? It's like sometimes it works. The band will release the poppy song, and you listen to the album, and the album sounds different. You go, well, why didn't they release that song? And then you know why, because the poppier song sells. But then I always have that in the back of my head. Is it really that, or is that because the song they released? Because there was one stage years ago, right, where, and it used to drive me insane, and I freaking hate it. This band still do it now. They'll be like a real metal band, right? Like they're hardcore, they're heavy as, but they'll have that one
like
slow
radio
jam
sort of
song,
like,
right? and they released this Radio Jam song, right? And I'm like,
then it gets a name out there.
But I'm like, no,
traction.
like you're a death metal band or you're a big metal band. Promote the big metal.
Yeah, it's like that false narrative.
Right?
Because,
and then,
like, I'll come along and listen to that song and be like, oh, these guys are really cool. Like, I'll check it. And then all of a sudden it's like, man, I'm like, oh, no. Like, it's like, but why aren't there songs like this, though? Like, that's what's out on the radio.
Yeah, and, like, I hate it. And bands do that. And, like, I felt like when we did the first single the first time on the album, it actually took off. And it was a good song. It was catchy. Chorus, I'll be the first one to say, chorus was catchy. It was actually the song that actually kind of got me in the band. I was like, yeah, this song's killer. Great riff, great vibe, got a groove. I get it. Like, straight off the bat, you don't have to convince me this song's really good. And the second song, I was like, this sounds like bogan old men playing guitars. And I said that from day dot. And then I had to sit there, pretend like nothing's going to happen because I'm like, this song won't go anywhere.
Yep.
Next thing I know, I'm doing a film clip for it. And I go, how did this happen? Like, why is this the song? Why is this the song that I'm spending my Thursday night, like, you know, jamming in front of a camera for?
Yep.
And it's like, but that's what it is. It's like a debate, right? We had 3 people in the band, right? We got 4 at the end. We had another guitarist at the end. But like, you constantly, I don't like this. Well, I like this, and this is the hill I'm going to die on. So we're going to have this song, and it's like, okay, I'm going to get up there every night. And you can't stand there on stage and pretend you hate it.
Yeah,
when you watch a band play, and like he looks like he's hating it, I hate that. Like, I love watching a guy rock out. I love watching a guy pretend like he's having a good time, even if his band sucks. I'm like, love that guy. Like, but yeah.
With 4 different people with all 4 different instruments.
Opinions as well.
Strong opinions. Did it get heated?
Yeah, bad. Oh, hell yeah. We had like fights. Like, I've had fights in bands before, like even before this one, where I've literally like smashed my guitar, like, and broke my guitar, and I've like thrown my guitar pedals. Like, I'm going to be honest, like a hissy fit.
I suppose
like, when I was younger,
but
I was a little bit looser, right?
Yeah.
I was like smashing shit, but like, it does. Like, it's
the clash of personalities as well, because not everyone sees eye to eye.
When I was in a band years ago when I was younger in high school, and I always say that like me and this guy, we're not even friends now, but like he was a drummer and I was a guitarist, and because we were both crap when we were in high school, we grew together. So our style was like ours. So his drumming style was the style to my guitar playing. So we never fought about music, because when we wrote stuff, it was always stuff that we liked. It was always our thing. When you get older and you meet other musicians who have done the same thing in other bands, and then you go, oh, we're going to try this. Oh no, I don't like that. And then you're like, you know, and it is one of those things where you write a riff and you're like, this is sick. I can't wait to put this in a song, and you bring it to the band breaks and they're like, sounds okay. And you're like, oh, I like put a lot of effort into this riff and I love this riff. It's awesome. It's not going anywhere, Joel. Like,
it's like you get a new haircut and you're so excited. And you get there and
but
no one's
everyone shreds
like,
you.
oh my God, this is actually hurting my feelings at this
point. It is
point.
like that. And and then you got to know your role in a band too. Like, not everyone can write and be the writer and write every song, and like, you know,
Was that ever an issue as well whilst being in a band? Like, for example, say like you've written a song and all that. Like, I've got again no idea how like the breakdown. Say if like the single takes off, but say you're the writer and all that. But then like because obviously like your lead singer is like the lead singer.
Yeah.
Would he get a bigger chop out even though you're the one that's written it? Like, did that ever cause like any issues as well? Where you're like, mate, like it's like I wrote the fucking song, mate. Like, yeah, you sang it. We needed your voice to sing it, but like I'm the fucking guy. Like that should be like I should be taking the larger percentage of that pay.
Yeah.
So when I was in older band, when like I said, it was like me and the old drummer used to write everything, and then the singer would put the lyrics on top. We would say it's all split like 3 ways, because me and the drummer, because it's like the drummer, he didn't write, he just wrote a drum beat, right?
Yeah.
But his drum beats are the reason why my guitar riff sounds this way. It adds to the song. Like, I have nothing wrong with saying you're a drummer, you're a writer, you wrote this song with me, and you're the singer. You put the hooks in. I didn't tell you how to sing it. Sometimes I might, like, no, I sing it this way. But like, all combined, you wrote the song, right?
Yeah, like it's a team effort.
Now, when I was in my last band, right, this is before we released the album, and this is still the most lamest thing, and I hated this to the, like, I've spilled all this stuff. Like, this is all coming out publicly. Like, you know, I'll get into some more stuff in a second, actually, some juicy dirt.
Okay.
But we sat down, me, the drummer, and the guitarist, discussing exact percentage of what we wrote on the album for each song. So we go, this is track 1, right? How much? It was like, well, the singer was like, well, I wrote all the lyrics, and then I wrote the main riff, and then this, and I pretty much wrote the drums too, so I'm going to have like 80% of this song. And then, Luke, you only wrote like 10%, so you get this. And Joel, you didn't write anything, so you get no money. And I was like, fine, whatever. And then like next song, well, Joel, you wrote the intro riff, so you can keep, so you probably only put like 10%, 20% in. And then I did the lyrics for this song and I sing it as well. And like, it was that lame.
That's
right?
so fucking
Dude,
petty.
I hated that. And to be fair, I get to a degree, like, I'll tell you what, man. Bands and ego are like it. Like
I
there's always one dude, man, who's just got the ego. And if it wasn't him, it was me prior to my old band.
Yeah, but I get it, and I understand it. But at the same time, like, it's a team thing, so it's almost like without you as well, though. Like, where does the song fucking go?
Unless you're like actually like, you know, Harry Styles, where it's like, no, I can actually do this without you other guys. You know, we're not Harry Styles. Like, we're like,
you need to bounce off one another to actually achieve that end product.
Like, you can be the guy that writes everything. Guess what? When you go to a pub and you're seeing a band play, you don't go, oh, I wonder who writes all this stuff. I bet it's that guy. Like, you don't. You watch and enjoy the band as a whole, right? Yeah. And you there, especially metal as well. Like, you're just there to feel the vibe and get loud music at you, right?
Definitely.
You know, you don't care about that. Like, and like, it got to the point where it was like that petty. And then like, I think we added it all up, and then it was like, oh, Joel, you only wrote like 25%, 20% of the album, and Luke wrote 40%, and then I wrote 70 or whatever, you know, whatever percentage was. Yeah, it was like that.
Shit.
It was like, and I remember sitting there going, this is like terrible.
I can't believe we have a calculator out for this shit.
Yeah, bad. It was like that. But that was 90% of being in a band too. It's like standing there, like jamming, and then doing the business side. Now, this band was actually trying to be serious, so you got to do the business side thing, right? But we did like a lot of dumb business things too, right? And I've already spilled the beans on this, like, and I've sent this out there. So when we first got YouTube, right?
Here we go.
Yeah, we bought all our Facebook fans, we bought all our YouTube followers, we bought YouTube views.
You can buy YouTube followers
back in the day. So
I think
if you do it now, you can do it now, but like 90% of the time they get flagged, right?
Yeah.
So we did get flagged.
Yep.
And like, I have nothing wrong with saying this because I hated it. I was against it, right? And that was the whole. No, everyone's doing it. You got to do it. In my head, I'm like, I don't think everyone's doing it. I think like people are actually grinding and actually being good at their fucking craft.
What was the cost?
It was pricey too. So we were spending like maybe like $100, right, here and there to get like whatever it was.
Was it just to boost like the view? So like that way
makes you look more bigger.
Yeah, I was gonna say people.
So if you put up a YouTube video, right, you do it at the same time, and then over a week it'll be like they slowly add, you know, 200 a day, 300 a day, and like there was ones where they give you comments and like,
so it seems legit. So people like come to you, like someone that's like maybe just heard of you. It's just like, oh, this band's on the up and up. Like, look at them, they're getting some track. Like, I'm going to jump on board as well with them.
And then like, and this is like back before YouTube was YouTube. And like, I look at it now going, and everything's hindsight. Yeah, like if I knew what I knew now back then, we could have done it legit and made it way better. So anyway, that video got up to like something stupid. It was like hundreds of thousands of views, and we had a lot of comments too, and we were like had fake accounts making comments as well.
I think everyone does that
on the grind though.
But that's another one of those things where you go time versus value added, because that takes a lot of time to start fake Facebook, YouTube accounts. Takes freaking time.
So out of the hundreds of thousands of views, how many do you reckon are legit?
It's real. So
do you reckon like there's 100,000 that are real from all the fake views?
Well, that's what pissed me off because I don't know.
You would never.
I can't even literally tell you what we got. So and that pisses me off because like I was against it because like I said, as soon as the band broke up, I told everyone. And I hated lying to my mates too. Like, because my mates would come up to me, oh, look, you've got like 100,000 views. That's awesome.
Like, this is crazy. Like, you're popular as.
That's why when I tell people about the shorts, I tell everyone, like, no, those subscribers are from shorts. Like, I don't sit there and go, yeah, now my channel's doing really well. I got 6,000. It's like, no, I got that from shorts.
Yeah.
You know, I try to be honest about everything because I don't like
you want to be honest and transparent.
Because if people are doing something, I want to know how they're doing it. And I want the honest truth too. I don't want the, oh man, you just got to work hard and everything will come to you. It's like, no, it didn't. Yeah, and that's what it was. And so we were buying Facebook things, and it was just
the whole purpose to
just look to
promote the album though. Like, how much did you sell the album?
How much did we sell the album?
Yeah.
Well, that kind of bombed, So
that would be fucking. I'm thinking now that would be, unless you're well known, that would be hard without like
albums
the
are
Facebook
pricey,
and
man.
the Instagram and
the artwork as well.
And we were just before that Spotify boom too. So like I always say that we were just trying to start a band and like just that 5-6 years too early,
Right, just too early. My girlfriend worked with someone who like did these songs, and they were like, I'm not gonna lie, they were a little cringe. Like I was like, this is great. But he has a blue check mark on Spotify, and he has monthly listeners. It's not good content, but he's actually got a bit of a following, and I'm like,
can market it,
God.
And I got mates like that too that make music. I'm like, how are you doing this? Like, it's garbage. But like everyone, if you market well and you can do like people do good smart things. Like I'm always impressed by a new way someone does something, because like everything gets oversaturated, and you look at everything, every time you see something good or blow up, 1,000 other dudes do it and it gets oversaturated.
Very hard to be
so
original.
Guys always try and like come up with new things and like, and like it's just when we release the album and just you try and look big because you want to. And like you do put a lot of work into an album. Like it is a grind. Like writing songs, perfecting them, playing them exactly freaking perfect, then editing them, then producing them, and then singing over it, and then realizing you hate it, and then redoing stuff, and then fixing crap, and then this guy changed the drums. Oh, but now the guitar riff doesn't work on top. Oh yeah, you've got to record the guitar again now.
Oh my God.
Like, and it was just, it's a lot. So when you go to do an album, you kind of, it's like, yeah, whatever, $100 to make it look bigger than it is. Yeah, that's fine. But that $100 became like a monthly, weekly thing. Yeah. And then we started pumping all this money into it. I remember one day I came to practice and they were like, we're going to put like $200 into like another 100,000 views. And I literally just put my foot down and said, no, like I'm trying to buy a house. Like actually at that point I had my house and I was like, no, like I can't do this, man. Like this is like.
Do you have a rough idea how much you reckon collectively you all put into the band?
Is the band
like dumped in?
Gear alone, I spent like 5-6K on.
Yeah,
because I was actually originally going to go to Europe, and I spent all that money. I was going to Europe on my equipment.
Yep.
To be in the band.
Do you still have that equipment? Do you still have that? Okay.
Sold all of it.
I was going to say because like
for way less.
Yeah, because I was about to then say like
all lost. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
Like listen, like. I love music and I freaking love it like more than anything. I love playing on stage more than anything in the world, right? But it got to a point where I was like, we're playing like one show a month. We're spending more time in this room arguing about fake Facebook followers.
Yeah.
Right? Than we are doing the one part of band I love. It's taken us 2 years to write a freaking album.
Yep.
Like and then once we released it, we like go play in an empty room in Sydney. You know what I mean? I'm like,
it's just not for all the hard work. Grinding. It's not hard. It's just not worth it in the end, I guess.
No, and
it sucks because it is your passion, so you do want to see it succeed.
You know what? Like when people say to me now, right? Like they go, "Oh, I want to be in a famous band." I'll go, "Yeah," because I believe anyone can do anything, right? Yeah, bang. You want to be a famous rock star? You can do it. First thing I say is, get a TikTok, get an Instagram, get YouTube,
build that following.
Do that crap because that stuff's the crap that's going to actually do anything. Because sitting there in a room, jamming away, writing songs, it's like, nah, unless some idiot like can see it in a reel, no one cares. Like it's hard.
I feel like that's such a hard thing to do as well because again, touching back on you've still got to also like live your like normal like life. Hell like you got to like be like this person behind the screen, but then like you go and work 9 to 5. You're also dealing with like family shit. Maybe there's family events and all that. Like I can just imagine like the stress of actual work itself, and then the stress of like you need to get like this music out as well. Like it almost becomes like this is like a hobby and a passion that I enjoy, but sometimes I feel like you'd also be like, fuck, like I just want to chuck it all in. Like it's just too much. Like I don't, and then there's no time to yourself as well.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fuck, like, I just want a day where I can just sit back and just do nothing.
It's hard because it's like, if you were to say, what would your dream be? It'd be like, playing guitar every night in a band, on a stage, traveling the world. 100%. Like I would give up everything I have right now to get that opportunity, right? But the work and the reality to get to that, even just to play a gig every Friday in Melbourne, like if you were to say to play a gig, that's hard. That's actually hard. Like committing that time, that practice, that energy just to do that and that money. Like, and when you play too often, people actually don't come see you because they're like, oh, they're going to play next Friday anyway.
Yeah, they'll be here again. So you lose
on that anyway, right? Like, so it's always this like stupid game that like, and it got too much for me. Like it really did. I just like threw it in. I was like, I can't do this crap anymore. This is like, I hated all the fakeness. I hated like another thing too was like I had long hair at the time and I wanted to cut it short. And I even had the singer was like, "No, you need long hair. Like you need to have a guitarist with long hair." I'm like, but it's annoying me when I'm at work at my real job, like you say, right? Like this is great.
Yeah, this is great for
this. Bad, right? Yeah, I was like, I gotta like wax it. I gotta like hair straighten it. And I was like, nah.
Isn't it funny to think like
I got told off because I wanted to wear a Kesha t-shirt on stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how petty that crap.
Bloody hell, that's so shit. Because I feel like you should just wear like just be you on stage. Because
if you've met me for more than 5 minutes, you know that like Kesha's like I would just wear a Kesha shirt. Not ironically, it's like I love Kesha. I'm going to wear a Kesha shirt in front of a room of metalheads. I don't care. I wore a Madonna shirt to like a Cradle of Filth gig, right? Like full like black metal, and I was like,
the people in the crowds at your gigs like be the ones like mosh pit kind of style where they all get in and swing their hands around.
Oh, we played an underage show actually, which was actually sick. We played an underage show. I think it was like the only one we played. And yeah, the kids were awesome. Like they like swing around, go hard. They moshed and like jumped. Oh, that was sick. That was cool.
And I know you love both hobbies. Like we were talking how obviously music's like a massive hobby. Now Pokemon's a massive hobby, and like both have been brought up as like it's money pits. Like, I love them, but it's money pits. And then we talked about Lego, and it's like, fuck, this future hobby is a money pit. Isn't it? It's hard because, like, sometimes you go back and you'd be like, oh, that trip to Europe, like, fuck, how much could I save for that trip to Europe? But you're in... I find so many people are just like, oh, you should have saved this, you should have saved that. And it's like, yeah, but I got to live and, like, enjoy my hobby. Forget the money. Like, if I scrounged it, I could say for, like, the last 5 years, oh, no, well, I didn't do anything. But, no, look, I got $100,000. It's like, yeah, but you wasted 5 years.
You got to, there's a balance too, right? Like, I would love to just burn all my money into Pokemon cards right now, right? But it's like, well, no, I still got a mortgage, I still got, like, kids to feed. Missus, and it's like, yeah, like, you got to find that balance too. And I've done both, where I've spent too much on this, and then I committed like 2 years to no hobbies. Yeah, like, I committed like 2-3 years to just going to work and grinding, and then saved up for an investment property. But, like, I didn't do anything for like 8 years.
Yeah, and were you happy as well during those 3? Were you just working as well?
Yeah, like, I wasn't. Like, I still had. Well, I had. That was the thing. I got really into saving. And I had, like,
which
a
is
lot
awesome.
of money. Yeah, it was sick. Yeah, like, and I got really into that. And I went through a stage where I went on holidays every month for like a year or two, and it was sick. I went overseas, went
just
interstate.
Experience life
Every month I was going on holiday, and it was good. Like, but then it's like, okay, well, I'm doing this and that's great. I'm getting this out of my system, but I should start saving for something else. Or do I want to? And so now I'm at this point now where with the Pokemon thing, where it's like, well, now this is what I want to do now. But I also do this as a hobby because I love it. I actually did get sucked into the Pokemon thing real hard. But in my head also, I am like, I want to turn this into something. Like I said before, I believe anyone can do anything, and I believe I can turn this somehow into a full-time career job. I've seen people do it.
Yeah, so you've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, yeah, and like I think anyone can. Like I think this podcast can be your full-time job one day. Like I honestly believe that. Like and you just work, you grind, and like put in the right hours and thing. Like and like the reason most things fail is because you just quit, right? So this Pokemon thing is just like I want to commit to it, because I quit the band thing, and like I kind of want this Pokemon thing. I want to just like
you actually want to like.
I want to blow it up.
Do it and do it properly.
I want to believe that like I can like one day get out of the waking up early and going to work in a
like you can actually just come on. Like you can wake up at like 10, 9 o'clock, whatever. Yeah. Sit down behind a camera, do some pack openings or like box break sort of thing. Go off, enjoy your afternoon. Maybe that night edit and cool.
Yeah, I would love that to be like it sounds dumb, but like that would be cool to make that your life. Like I'm a big
it would be.
Like, I'm a big hobby guy. Like we're like I love toys. I love skateboarding. I like music. I like seeing computer games.
It's more just time to yourself as well. It's to do the things that you actually enjoy.
I would love that to be like, and I know that sounds stupid. Like everyone doesn't want to go to work, and everyone wants to do all the cool things. I like Joel. Duh. It's like and I reckon I can do it. Like,
but if you aspire to be that and you want to chase that dream, that's a thing. I feel like so many people have a dream and a passion and all that, but it's fun to say it, but then like, what are you actually doing to like achieve that?
Yeah, and you see it time and time again that everyone who says it's too hard, that nothing happens to them.
Correct.
And then you see guys grind and grind and grind, and then they go, and people still tell them, "Oh, what are you doing? You're wasting your time." But you keep grinding. You know what I mean? Like you get
as long as you're happy at the end of the day, that's all that should really matter. Like fuck what the outside noise and the people around you are telling you. Like if you actually want to do it, why let someone stop you from doing that?
That's the one thing about being in a band, which is like kind of one thing that actually kind of pisses me off in a way, was like so many people tell you constantly that you cannot be famous, right?
Yeah,
constantly.
Yep.
And whether it's people like your music or not, whether people like music's subjective, is not like the band was called Subjective. That's hilarious. But like, music's subjective anyway, right? Like, what you think's the best music you've ever heard is absolute trash to someone, right? Why are Coldplay famous? I have no idea. Like, still the most horrible band I've ever heard in my life.
Same.
But to someone, that's a big thing. So, like, if I met Coldplay when they were no one, I would tell them, you're never going to be famous, right? But it's like, it doesn't help to say that. Like, it's just like... Yeah. Like anyone, like just grind out of it. It's like, and then we've all watched those reels and those shorts of the motivational guys saying, "Just keep at it, keep at it." It's like it's as simple as that.
Yeah, you just get that one lucky break, or like that somehow that one video that takes. That's all it can take, though.
Yeah, that's
all. And everyone's so different too. Like I literally like. If you think about like the classic, like playing video games, and it's like, no, you should go out on a hike. You should go out and do this and that. I went last week at 3 a.m. on a fucking hike to a top of a hill, and it was like a 6+ hour event.
Yeah.
10 seconds I enjoyed it. When I was at the top of the hill, I went, this is pretty cool. The rest I hated.
Yeah.
I don't care that the fact if like we all sat down and played Mario Party, I would have a 10 times better experience. Yet so many people be like, no, like
it's a different.
You got to get out and do a hike. You got to do this. Everyone's different.
It's whatever you do. It's like whatever like feeds that part of your brain, right? And it's like, yeah, exactly that. See, I love hiking, right, and I love doing it, but I also don't need to monetize that. Like, you know, with the Pokemon thing, it's like I want to monetize that. I want that to be a money making thing, right? Like when I go skateboarding, I like skateboarding. I don't film it because I do that just for me. Like you just got to balance that out, eh? Like, you know, what do I want to work at? Like, you know, and like the video games thing, that argument's been around for years, and it's like I love video games because video games makes me relax. It's the only time I can actually relax.
It's me doing my thing.
Yeah, like I don't know about you guys, but my brain works overtime all the time, thinking about stuff I shouldn't think about. About life bills.
I'm like anxiety, stress, overthinking big time.
Video games.
So many times I'll be talking to him, and he's like, dude, what in the fuck is wrong? And I'm like, man, I can't help it. Like, it's just, that's me. That's how I'm wired. Like, if he won't reply to a message, I've said it before, not so much now, but there was a long time there where it's like, look, he hasn't replied to me. Like, oh, was it something I said in the message? Does he not want to be my friend anymore and all that?
Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, like, oh, shit. Like, exactly sort of thing. Though. But like, that's the thing. Like, my brain goes into overdrive about so much small, tiny shit. And you're right. If I'm playing a video game, no matter what it be, like, I might be angry at the video game at the time, but like, at least my sole focus is on that. Like, there's no outside noise.
That's the only thing, and video games are the only thing that does that. And like, I've lost count of how many ex-girlfriends have gone, boy, you play video games, it's such a waste of time. And it's like, because the only time I'm sitting there not thinking about anything else, but then literally just
in reverse.
If I go skateboarding, I'm thinking about problems. If I go,
come sit next to me and watch Pretty Little Lies.
I was about to say that. That's the thing.
Right. That same dumb argument, right? Like my missus, right? Like I love.
Why are you keeping up with the fucking Kardashians?
Dude, my missus, like I said, I love her, right? But she watches proper garbage TV, right? And then not only that, she finishes it and then watches it again.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, why are you watching this? She goes, I just want it in on the background. I'm like, oh, so you're allowed to have like this crap on in the background, but if I go sit there and play video games,
I'm the worst person in the world.
I'm playing Pokemon cards. Oh, you're wasting time. I'm like, mate, like, I think there's nothing worse than watching some 90s sitcom on repeat, right, in the background. That's what you're doing, spending your days. It's like, no, go watch a documentary. I've tried to like do that myself though. Like, just watch documentaries. Just watch something educational, learning, or at least learn about something that was real. Like, if you're watching like some garbage comedy TV series, it's like,
that's the thing with these days, the stimulation, like it's so hard to hit. So I would love to sit down and watch a proper documentary as well. But then next thing you know, somehow I notice that I'm doing work on the business while I'm on my phone, while the documentary's up. And I'm like, I'm actually not even fucking watching it.
I do the same thing. Yeah, you sit there watching something with your phone in your other hand and there's always something. There's always something to do though. Like, and I get the same thing where if I'm at home, I got spare time, I'm like, well, I can play video games, or if I sit at my desk and like sort Pokemon cards or figure out a new reel, or like I'll add something to at least try and keep the business of that going.
Yep.
Because it's even hard trying to motivate myself to do that sometimes, because you do the reels, you do the shorts, then you do the TikTok.
I would say that there's been so many times where like I have my laptop open and I'm like specifically doing stuff for the podcast on my laptop, but because I've chosen to open my laptop in my bedroom where my PlayStation is on my phone, I might be watching a YouTube video, and then next thing I know, I've like spent like an hour and a half just watching like my watch lady, and I'm like, fuck, I was meant to title this fucking pod. Like, what the fuck am I doing?
Time goes like, so fast.
For fuck's sake. So then, like, what I found best for me is either, and Luke said it before, like, I come here now with my laptop, which I've been doing like almost maybe for like just 3 weeks, I'd say. And like, that's been awesome because I'll get here before we set it up. I might quickly bang some stuff out, or even after, like I'll say for a little bit. Or it's actually to like escape my bedroom and sit like at like the actual dining table, because if I'm there, it's just like, no, it's predominantly just like I've got no other, there's no TV. I leave my phone in there as well. I don't even put my Apple Watch on, because I'm like, oh, if I hear like a ding, I'll be like, no, I need to reply to like that message, or like, oh, what was that sort of thing. So I agree with that.
Mate, I want to talk about UFC the next one.
Let's do it.
I'm mad UFC.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Guys, that was Morokai with 2 eyes. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next one. Bam.
Boom.